yeah, buddy. Rolling like a big shot. Chevy tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of your shit race review by Fresh Racing. Let's start with the Xfinity. I mean, I don't know why I continue to talk about the Xfinity from the start of these race reviews, because I've yet to get any fucking subscribers. But it was another, just typical cup race for the Xfinity guys. I mean, you had a couple guys running up there. I remember Hemrick got up there like from the start, but he ended up running in the back like a shit show. And I mean, it was just, I don't know. There's not much to talk about. I remember if anybody, Eric Jones, I know he's considered a cup guy now, but in my opinion, he's still an Xfinity guy. He was the only one that was actually fucking aggressive throughout the race. So, I mean, if you actually saw the race, you probably saw, you know what I'm talking about. But, I mean, he was aggressive as fuck. I mean, there were some cases where I was like, what are you doing, Eric Jones? And some cases it was like, good, fucking move him, you know. But he ended up, wrecking Paul Menard, and I was surprised about myself, But here's a clip of that real quick.
We'll climb out. Oh, looks like Paul left him a little bit of room, and I don't think Eric was anticipating that Paul was going to leave him a lane, and he tried to cross back underneath him, anticipating that Paul was going to slide up in front of him, and when that happened, there was not.
Watch him on the exit.
On board with Jones.
So yeah, as you can see, he was pretty aggressive, but other than that, it was just the same old kind of shit that I expected. The Cup guys dominated. But finally, Kyle Larson, out of all people, finally won it, and good for him. It was a good race for, out of the Xfinity. I mean, there was more passing, I guess, than you can expect from that series and shit. But here's a quick clip of Larson winning the Xfinity series.
It'll be all about lane choice down here in turns 3 and 4. Larson lost some ground the last time through. Where does he go?
Joe's going to drive it in really hard in a lane up. He's going to try and get a big run here off the corner and maybe a draft down the front stretch.
Larson went low. Back to the line. Logano's got a run. Gonna be a good finish here. Give it to Kyle Larson. He wins in California.
Larson wins that race and already has a pole for the next race for the Monster Energy series at Auto Club. And so we get to the start, and Kyle Larson gets a good start, but Denny Hamlin and Keselowski ends up picking the back tires off of Denny Hamlin, and for some reason it's like the most stupidest restart I've ever seen in a while, I guess. And it ends up really, really bad for my boy Keselowski. He just spins his tires and spins Denny Hamlin's tires, and it ruins Kevin Harvick's day. And just here you go. This is what happened.
Trouble! Wow, that almost was a wreck.
Already.
Denny Hamlin did not get going, and look at him stack up in this traffic jam.
Big heavy damage to the left rear of the two.
Man, I don't know how Keselowski held on to that car. I'm not so sure he doesn't have you think he's got a left rear down?
Kyle Larson leads the first lap, but look at this inside lane on the initial start.
Oh, he made contact with the 11 of Denny Hamlin. That held him up, and then the domino effect from...
And then eventually this shit happened.
Boyer on the outside.
He's stuck in the middle here between Clint and the 13 Ty Dillon. Jimmy Johnson from behind.
Yeah, I think Johnson might have tapped him a tad.
But you talked DW, he was nursing it, and because of that, others were taking advantage of it and putting him in a very vulnerable position. He got loose, he had to check up. Jimmy's coming with momentum. More damage to the left rear.
Outside.
Boy, this is not the way you want to start a race. Oh my God.
Almost 4 wide right there.
Behind you, outside.
Now, Keselowski was 17th. Jimmy Johnson was in a heck of a hurry. He did not get to qualify, had to start last. He was whipping his way through the field, and then he came up on that log jam.
Well, I think it's one of those racing deals. When we take a look at this on replay, you're going to see the 13 of Ty Dillon. He's down under Keselowski. See a little damage on the 48 here.
A little bit of damage to that right front corner.
Not near as bad as what's on the 2.
Here's Jimmy Johnson's radio.
All right, so other than that bullshit, I mean, we had a couple of good racing, you know. I mean, the stages to this point have really not played any type of, like, interesting role. I mean, I remember Kevin Harvick hit the wall, and that was because of the incident that happened that I just showed. Larson won the stage 1, and I expected that. You know, he was dominating, just like, it was basically just Truex versus Larson the first 2 stages. I remember Stewart Haas, like, that whole team, other than Clint Boyer, which I was fucking loving it, to be honest, but I also pull for, you know, Kevin Harvick, Danica Patrick, and Kurt Busch, because I'm a big Tony Stewart fan, but I really was glad that Clint, out of all the drivers, was up there, you know, throughout the race. And then Truex won stage. He won the second stage. Excuse me, I'm looking off a piece of paper because it was that fucking boring of a race. There was no passing really. As you know, there's no passing up front. It was just the same. It was Larson and Truex and Chase Elliott, and there was no passing. I mean, there's nothing really for me to talk about. There was some passing back in the pack, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. You know, that's normal. That's normal for NASCAR, and I'm glad they have that. But there needs to be passing up front. I mean, shit, it's boring as fuck whenever there's not passing up front. So after the stages were done, it started getting interesting, like normal. Matt Kenseth hit the wall, lap 16.
Oh,
spin.
Around goes Kenseth.
Got a spin behind you.
Hard hit with the right front for Matt Kenseth. Or left front, rather. Gosh.
You know, a lot of people took tires, didn't take tires, and it made it more interesting, made it, you know, 2 tires, 4 tires, whatever. And then, you know, it kept going. And I think it was Larson was still out front, and Truex. It was the same fucking drivers. Like I said, not a lot of competition out front. And then Ricky Stenhouse hits the wall again, lap 4. And I mean, they were the same drivers out front, but they were all my favorite drivers. Like, you had Jamie McMurray and Clint Boyer, Keselowski. I don't see how the hell Keselowski got back after, you know, his car was completely damaged. But somehow Larson ended up winning. Keselowski ended up second, and Clint Boyer ended up fucking third. And it was. I mean, I can't hate on the race because they're all my favorite drivers, but it was kind of boring, in my opinion. I love all the drivers that won, but it was boring. There was not enough fucking action up front, and I hope to see a lot of fucking action next weekend at Martinsville. I look forward to the triple header next weekend at Martinsville, and I hope to see you guys next weekend. I hope that you guys subscribe to Fresh Racing. I will be having another race review for all 3 series next weekend, and see y'all later.
Yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Chevy tuned up like a NASCAR pit stop.